Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It is Tuesday, April the 10th, 2018, and thank God this shit is over. SmackDown Live After Mania. And I wouldn't even go as far as to distinguish it as being different from any other SmackDown Live. I didn't think it was possible to be worse than the Raw After Mania, but it absolutely was, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is the world's greatest tag team, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, and the Wrestling God of Thunder, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. You guys, I don't understand what is wrong with this company. SmackDown Live, following WrestleMania, has also, in recent years, become a big deal. Or at least it's supposed to be. What was the big deal tonight? Can you tell me what the big deal tonight was? The iconic duo? That was big? Was that big to you? I might be on an island to myself in this corner, or in this opinion that I'm about to tell you. I don't like the iconic duo. I never did. Sure, I'm a big NXT guy. I'm a big mark for NXT. I love me some NXT, baby. But I don't love everything in NXT. I don't love everyone that comes up and comes through NXT. I wasn't jumping out of my mind and marking out for the arrival of the iconic duo tonight on the SmackDown Live After WrestleMania. What else did we have tonight? A dream match being booked by a new general manager. Now, to be fair, I was on board with the new general manager. I thought Paige was a fantastic choice for a general manager for SmackDown Live. It's something different. It's something new. It's not something old. It's not a Hulk Hogan. You know, it's not somebody from the Attitude Era. It's somebody more recent. It's somebody young. It's somebody that could be fresh and new and different. And I had high hopes for this until she started to open her mouth. And it's not the way she was delivering her promo. It's the fact that her first act as general manager was to make a match that everybody in the world wants to see. It's not that I don't want to see this match. You'd be an idiot to not want to see AJ Styles go one-on-one with Daniel Bryan. It's a match we've all salivated over the prospect of since AJ arrived on the scene. But we thought we weren't ever going to be able to get it. So Daniel Bryan's in the WWE, what, 3 days now? He's back on the main roster, and they burn out one of the dream matchups right out of the gun. Right out of the friggin' gun. Right at the starting gate, they go, boom, let's get the dream matches out of the way. Why? To make this match take place, even with the way it went down at the end of the night. To have this match cold as ice, with no build, nothing behind it, on a SmackDown Live that is nestled between WrestleMania and a shakeup, which makes both of these shows that are taking place this week following WrestleMania absolutely useless and meaningless and nothing. And they definitely took that attitude tonight with SmackDown Live. One big surprise all night in the call-up department. And the rest of the surprises came as what? The cash-in from Carmella. That was the big moment of the night. And everybody that has a brain, everybody that can formulate a comprehensive thought that makes sense, if you could spell the word box, if you know how to go to the bank yourself and cash your money and put your money in the bank, then you're intelligent enough to know that this was a terrible move. This did absolutely nothing for SmackDown Live. This did nothing for Charlotte's image. This did even further damage to the image of Asuka. If you're a smart wrestling fan and you're not just watching and taking it in and just cheering and booing like a robotic goon, then you will know that this match or this event, it wasn't even barely a match that took place tonight, made everything that happened with Asuka and Charlotte at WrestleMania irrelevant. Charlotte broke the streak to lose the title 2 days later after getting beat up by two nobodies without the aid of her friends. She's had backup for the last 4, 5, 6 fucking weeks. You got Naomi running out there. You got Becky Lynch, her best friend, tea time, right? Well, she was in the back drinking too much tea. If you saw what I saw on Twitter, Becky Lynch put up a little 1-minute long video. She's sitting in the back going, "Oh, I don't know. I was in the back eating some delicious fucking quinoa while my best friend's getting her ass beat outside and she lost her title. I don't know what happened." Are you fucking serious? Quinoa? I guess what they say about these people and the fucking catering in the WWE is true. They got some incredible spread back there. If she can't pick her head up from a bowl of fucking quinoa for 2 seconds to go save her best friend from a 3-on-1 attack, pretty much. And Carmella cashing in the Money in the Bank. And now Carmella is your SmackDown Live Women's Champion. What does that do for SmackDown Live? Was this a big, tremendous, epic moment for anybody other than Carmella and maybe her dog? She's going to go home with the belt. She's going to show her dog. She's going to be all happy. She don't have Big Cass anymore. Who cares? Who cares about Carmella being the SmackDown Live Women's Champion? The little fangirls? All the little girls in Staten Island that look up to her? Get the hell out of here. I really don't understand it. How you could, A, do that to Charlotte Flair and make her look so foolish and have the Money in the Bank cashed in on her at such a ridiculous moment. After nothing but a 2-on-1 attack. This woman just beat the Empress of Tomorrow. She just beat the unbeatable. And she got beat down by 2 girls that need a sack of cheeseburgers from White Castle to put some friggin' pounds on. Because you can see right through them, they're so thin. I don't like them. I never did. And that makes everything that happened tonight and everything that it did to Charlotte and everything that it did to the image of Asuka even more magnified for me personally. For you guys, it might not be so bad. Maybe you guys like a little Peyton Royce. Maybe you like Billy Kay. I don't. I don't think they really add anything, especially if you're going to immediately insert them into a title picture that they don't deserve to be in. Now, I know there's not many girls on the roster, but you don't bring them up and immediately insert them at the top when they barely did shit in NXT. The same thing on Raw with No Way Jose. You can take everything I said about him and apply that here. Everybody else that has been called up from NXT over the last year has been garbage. Look at the Riot Squad. Look at Crap Solution. You think the iconic duo was going to be cared for? You think they're going to be nurtured and brought up in the right light? I certainly don't. They already kicked it off in the wrong way. Absolute garbage. This whole entire show, once again, was nothing more than a 2-hour commercial broadcast for the greatest Royal Rumble, Vince McMahon's real WrestleMania. Look at how much the card continues to take shape. We're going to have every single title defended on that night in a big-time match at something that is nothing more than an overseas house show for a select audience of people that's going to be aired on the network because things that are important are going to happen there. They didn't show Starrcade on the network. They didn't bring the whole fucking camera crew and everything down to North Carolina so that we could witness Starrcade on the network. But they're going to send everybody all the way across the fucking world to Saudi Arabia so they can capture everything that happens at this ridiculous event, which is going to change everything. It's It's going to change everything to what we didn't want after WrestleMania. Vince McMahon, knowing going into WrestleMania that his WrestleMania was going to be an epic failure, made this event and placed it where it is and designed it specifically to be where he is going to execute his master plan. He is going to get Roman Reigns over and put the belts on whoever he wants to put on over there. Because it will be perceived in a more positive light. It will be taken in by fans that are more tolerant of WWE bullshit because they don't look as deep as some of the rest of us. You got to understand that in some of these countries, they're only getting the WWE for maybe the last 5 years. 10 years, tops. That's why they're trying to push the initiative over there. They're trying to get over there now because they don't really know what the WWE is all about. They want to get as many eyes and they want to get subscribers. I don't know why he continues with the agenda, Vince McMahon, but it continues. We thought WrestleMania was the end. Apparently, it's only the beginning. And then to follow up with two of the worst After Mania shows I have ever seen in my life makes me fear even harder for the rest of this year and going into the build for next year. I can't, you guys. It's just too much. Maybe there's just been too much wrestling going on that my tolerance for it is at an all-time low because they continually, all weekend long, put themselves in a position to give us quality, to give us something special, to give us surprises that mean something, and do nothing but drop the ball. They disappointed everybody big time with WrestleMania. Kicked off pretty good, but by the end of the show, you wanted to put a knife in your temple. Same thing with Raw. Raw kicked off, alright, we had the Stephanie Ronda segment, and then the rest of it was pretty much off the rails. Off the fucking rails. SmackDown Live is the same way. Everything that happened tonight was ridiculous. Look at what they decided to do with the United States Championship. They gave it to Jinder Mahal at WrestleMania. And you have 3 men in this matchup. You got the 3 men that lost at WrestleMania. Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Rusev. Out of everybody in that list I just gave you, Randy Orton was not in the forefront of my mind to win that match. I thought either they were going to go with Bobby Roode and continue that atrocity, or if they were smart and if they knew what they had and if they wanted to give us what we wanted to see and if they wanted to reward people for their hard work and determination for getting over and for making money for the company, Rusev was your winner tonight. You didn't give him the win at WrestleMania, fine. You have a #1 contenders match. The crowd, every time Rusev touched anybody at all, especially Randy Orton. He put Randy Orton through a table at ringside. The crowd went friggin' berserk. Every time Rusev was close to winning, the crowd went nuts. Rusev Day chants throughout. You know what they weren't happy with? Randy Orton winning at the end of this fucking thing. You gave it to Randy Orton so that we could have a continuation of this Orton-Mahal nightmare. This Orton versus Mahal garbage, because it did so well for you last year for the World Heavyweight title. That was the top storyline in the whole company last year, right? We're going to revisit that, and we're not going to reward Rusev. We're not going to give him anything. We are going to continue to bury him until this man asks for his release again. They are going to hold Rusev hostage. They are not going to allow him to win. They are not going to paint him in a good light. And they are going to keep him under contract for as long as they possibly can so that he doesn't go somewhere else like a Ring of Honor or a New Japan and join the Bullet Club or go against the Bullet Club or bring Rusev Day somewhere else. Because you know what? They don't own Rusev Day. Rusev is the guy's name. His legitimate name is Alexander Rusev. I don't know. It's just clear to me that we are not changing in any way. These two shows are supposed to facilitate the change for the new year. Last night was all a bunch of call-ups and then a regular episode of Monday Night Raw, complete with a 6-man main event. And tonight, we got much in the same. A regular episode of SmackDown Live. We had no Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn even trying to get a job back at SmackDown Live. We had no Baron Corbin again. We had pretty much nobody else on the roster but anybody that was involved on the main card in WrestleMania. It was a ridiculous show tonight, and it did nothing but anger me. Especially when you want to give me AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan unadvertised, unimportant, announced cold, and then you allow it to take place and give them a good 10 minutes to fuck around, only to have it ruined with the plan to make Nakamura a heel, which doesn't make sense. I did kind of enjoy his little interaction with Renee Young earlier in the evening when she was trying to get him to answer why. Why did you do what you did to AJ? And Shinsuke's like, hey, listen, maybe I was a little emotional, and I apologize for what I did to AJ Styles. And then she pushed him a little bit further, and he was like, excuse me, I don't speak English, and walked away. I thought that was pretty cool, but in the end, I just don't see Shinsuke as a heel yet. And him interrupting one of the biggest matchups that we've ever seen booked for a SmackDown Live is not going to generate heat with me because there was nothing at stake in this match. This was just a match for the sake of having the match. It wasn't for the title. It wasn't for a shot at the title. You didn't cost anybody anything. So what did he really do tonight by getting AJ Styles disqualified? He did nothing. Just like SmackDown Live. This whole show did absolutely nothing. Right from the minute Paige opened her mouth after she was announced as the new general manager of SmackDown Live, I was pretty much done with this show. And with no further surprises or anything outside of that ridiculous segment that was booked for the women that made Charlotte and Asuka look like absolute trash at the expense of two girls that nobody really knows, that haven't been on NXT in months, and that nobody really gives two shits about. Terrible show. Absolutely terrible. Number one contenders match, The New Day versus the Usos. This was for about the 10,000th time. It wasn't going to be nearly as good as anything we've seen in the past, but I was happy when the Usos came out victorious in the end and are the new number one contenders and will have their match for the championships where? At Vince's WrestleMania, the greatest Royal Rumble. Absolutely trash. You think the Usos are going to win? I don't. That's going to be where the Bludgeon Brothers most likely cement their spot as the tag team title holders for SmackDown Live, if they're even still on SmackDown Live, with the shakeup coming this week. You see how everything just kind of is fucked up and presents a problem? You're ruining the shakeup by announcing this thing because we all already know where the champions are going to be. You're not going to split up the champions, are you? No. So obviously the Bludgeon Brothers ain't going anywhere. But what about the New Day? There's 3 people in the New Day. The odds of one of them being pulled to the other show are tremendously greater than anybody else. But is it going to happen? It should. But is it? I doubt it. Not with the way things are looking for the future and how they're booking things for this Royal Rumble thing. Absolute garbage. Terrible. Naomi versus Natalya. Naomi versus Natalya happened because Naomi is celebrating with the golden uterus in the back. And Dasha Fuentes comes out and asks her about her uterus. And she's like, hey, listen, look at it glow. It's golden. It's got the glow, baby. No, she didn't say anything of the sort. I actually wasn't listening at all because I didn't give 2 shits about anything that she had to say. And then they made it even worse by having Natalya come into the picture. Now, I know we like to tell everybody all the time when we talk about Dana Brooke that Dana Brooke looks like Miss Piggy, and that is an absolute unmitigated fact. You cannot argue that. It is a fact. She is the Miss Piggy of pro wrestling, and that is what I have dubbed her since I have started this podcast just a little over a year and a half ago. And now we can add to that list Natalya. Now, I know she's walking around and she wants to be a cat, right? She's slowly morphing herself into a cat. She has become the Maureen Ponderosa of professional wrestling. But tonight, she looked like Miss Piggy with those fucking ears and that hairdo, and her skin was all pink, and she just looked horrendous. Horrendous. And why Natalya keeps coming in on people's promos to get matchups, I'll never know. I hate the way they format the show. Like none of these matches were planned, and people are just walking around in the back, and hey, you're having an interview. I don't like you, and I should have won the Women's Battle Royal. I'm going to take that trophy. You can't take the trophy because it doesn't go anywhere. It's not up for grabs. You don't defend the trophy. Well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And next thing you know, you have a match. What the fuck are the general managers and the commissioners doing all week long that the show's not set by the time the TV cameras turn on? That they want to come across as doing everything on the fly. Well, that's what it feels like. You don't have to make it look that way. You don't have to make it that obvious. What, did you just come up with that segment before you went to Naomi's little interview in the first place? Oh, by the way, we got some time to kill. Give her a match with Natalya. Make her interrupt the promo. That's enough to have a match. You don't have a general manager get involved. You don't have any source of an authority trying to say anything anywhere. Matches are just made by superstars, and then away we go. Ugh. Naomi beats Natalya. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think Natalya was going to win? Natalya's sole purpose for existing on SmackDown Live at this point is to put over and work with these new girls and make sure they get all the training that they can on the job with a grizzled veteran that knows what she's doing. Does it make the match more interesting? No. Does she make anything more interesting? No. Naomi beats Natalya. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Let's see what else happening. Oh, here we go. Carmella versus Charlotte Flair is the official listing because she cashed in the Money in the Bank. We all know how I feel about it. I went off about it already. We're not going to really tear off on it too much. But I do want to say one thing. I cannot tell you how agitated I was with this continued nonsense with the referees and the Money in the Bank briefcase. I did not want her to cash it in, and I was at this moment with all the confusion that was being portrayed. The girl clearly handed him the box and said, I want to cash this in now. She then had to start screaming like a banshee repeatedly. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell. And then Mike Chiodo, whoever the hell it was, keeps asking her, you want to cash in this? What is this? What did you hand me? It says it right on the fucking briefcase in big green letters. Money in the Bank. You don't know what to do with this, referee. She's screaming in his face to ring the bell. What took so long? And then he's got to turn around and be like, oh, she's cashing in. Who was he talking to? Us? We know what she's doing. We knew what she was doing the minute she came out of the fucking curtain. How did he not know what she's doing and make this whole exchange and drag this thing out? When you do something like that, it makes your brain believe that Carmella is not going to successfully cash in the championship because there's too much time being wasted to be an opportunist in that moment. And Charlotte's clearly sitting in the corner recovering. She had enough power to get exactly in position to get kicked in the face very badly by Carmella. And after one kick and a minimal beatdown by the iconic duo, we have a new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. After this match was the Triple Threat #1 Contenders match. Made worse by the fact that Randy Orton actually pinned Rusev to top it all off. And Bobby Roode escapes unscathed. The WWE is on a mission to destroy Rusev Day. And I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Oh my God. AJ Styles is walking around backstage. Renee Young is asking him about everything that happened with AJ, with Nakamura. Tells him he apologized earlier in the night. AJ doesn't buy it. He says next time he sees Shinsuke Nakamura, he's going to kick him in the throat or some shit. And he's like, all right, I got to focus on Daniel Bryan because he's one of the best, but he's not phenomenal. And sorry, AJ, but yeah, Daniel Bryan's pretty fucking phenomenal if you ask me. Especially if you're coming back from a career-ending neck injury or concussion-related injury that wasn't really there in the first place. But we won't get into that right now. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Of course you're going to enjoy this match because these two are two of the absolute best performers in the business. They are two of the most over men on the roster. The fact that they are both baby faces made this matchup ridiculous as well. Two good guys going at it for absolutely no reason other than to bemuse the new underage GM. She is not underage, but it definitely was an immature decision to make such a grandiose match on such a whim like that. Absolutely ridiculous. In case you couldn't notice, I hated tonight's SmackDown Live. There was absolutely nothing in this show. And the only one thing that happened made me sick to my stomach. Absolutely disgusting. Wasting of Asuka's streak. Just to give it to Charlotte Flair. For what reason? Why? Because she's a Flair? And she needs to carry the distinction of being able to beat a streak because she's a Flair? Instead of going with something new and different in Asuka and continuing that fresh storyline that people were starting to get behind, only to have her humiliated on SmackDown Live by Carmella with a cash-in that should have happened months ago. Why didn't it happen at WrestleMania? At least then Asuka would still have remained undefeated. This iconic duo comes out, right? You have them shock the WrestleMania audience. They would have popped for them for sure. Interject themselves in this match. You say you're a queen, you say you're an empress, but neither one of you is iconic. And then they hit the ring, they tear them apart, and then Carmella comes out at WrestleMania, just like Seth Rollins, pins Charlotte Flair. Asuka remains undefeated. Everybody goes home happy. WWE gets what they want. Why they would want this, I don't know. I didn't mind her winning the Money in the Bank when she did. But the fact that it took this long to get here, and now all they did was shit all over Asuka at the end of it all, after all that work and all that build-up, to have her lose at WrestleMania to a woman that is only going to not be the champion anymore just days later, it's ridiculous. You would have been better off having her take the Money in the Bank with her to Raw and trade her to Raw in the shakeup and have her cash in on Nia Jax, who doesn't need to be walking around as a champion right now. Have Alexa and Mickey attack Nia Jax, take her out, and then in the middle of next week's shakeup, you have Carmella come out and cash in on Nia Jax, leaving everybody on SmackDown Live alone. Then Charlotte wouldn't have had to be embarrassed. Asuka wouldn't be, well, she would have still been embarrassed because WrestleMania would have happened the way it happened, and that would have been the end of it. But the further embarrassment and the further burial of Asuka by this move definitely would not have hurt that much if they would have taken some time and thought some shit out. How good do you think this shakeup is going to be if they're doing it this quick when there were no real plans in place for the shakeup just a few days ago prior to WrestleMania? They have no idea what they're doing because they're all focused on the greatest Royal Rumble. Because that's the biggest, most important event of the year. Because it's Vince McMahon's Royal Rumble. These shows were trash. I am so glad that this fucking weekend is over. And I am so disappointed. The one word you could pick to describe the entire weekend, starting from Friday, with NXT being the only exception, because the Hall of Fame was an atrocity this year. After the Dudleys, it was all downhill. Just like WrestleMania, after the Intercontinental Championship match and everything that happening on the pre-show ended up being better than the rest of the WrestleMania card. So the show, again, starts off pretty good. We got through the Intercontinental Championship. That was pretty good. And then the rest would just fall to shit. And then the same pattern happened Monday and the same again today. Paige gets announced as the new GM. Fantastic! TM biscuits, crumpets for everybody. Hooray! And then the rest of the show, complete dog shit. Thank you guys so much for joining me. That's all we're going to say about tonight's edition of SmackDown Live. I am wrapping up on wrestling this week. It is about that time. Because after a week like this week, we wait for it all year. And it absolutely just mentally and physically drains us here on YouTube between watching all these shows and then sitting here talking to you guys about these shows, getting the videos up, doing everything. The amount of sleep over the last 4 to 5 days has been minimal. And it's time to start catching up on some of that and going on a nice little adventure with my buddy Link as I start my endeavors in the Breath of the Wild coming to my life tomorrow finally, now that WrestleMania is out of the way. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel. This weekend we should be seeing the most influx of subscribers that we have ever seen. Do not forget to smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you will always be notified whenever an awesome video just like this one drops. And you could be awesome as well by not only subscribing but liking this video. Smash that thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed the show. Let everybody in the world know you enjoy the show. The thumbs up numbers have been fantastic as of late. I can't thank you guys enough. Make sure you keep doing that. Smash that thumbs up and let everybody know that this is the place to be for the truth and the honesty and the power of the hammer, because we hold nothing back. We bring you guys everything without no sugar sprinkled on top. It's not always sweet and delicious like my beautiful face. Sometimes it's sour and bitter, and it goes down hard, and it hurts. And that's why we are here, to bring you the hammer, so that you always know what's right and wrong in the world of pro wrestling. Because everything that happened around WrestleMania 34 has just been wrong. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the World Heavyweight Champion of microphones, Blue the Snowball. This is the Wrestling God of Thunder, Thor the Sledgehammer. They are the greatest tag team in the world. This is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We will see you all next week when we have to continue to see how the WWE want to ruin our life on a weekly basis. And we will bring to you all of the wrestling news as we always do, right here on Sledgehammer TV. See how tired I am? I'm rambling. I can't even do my outro. So on that note, that is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. And for the last time, shirts!